Hi everybody, this is Alchemist2, and I'm back again with another movie review. I just recently got to see Argo. I know it's been out for a while, but I really didn't know how this entire story came to be, or how this really happened. It was in 1979, and it was in Iran. And of course the Shah at the time was sick, so the United States decided to take pity upon the Shah, bring him here, and the Shah and his wife lived in opulence. And what happened is Ayatollah then decided to start actually, he was exiled. He was an exiled cleric at the time, which I didn't know. I thought, why didn't the media tell us this? It just makes you wonder what the media is hiding from us, and I think that the media is hiding quite a few things, and they're only letting a few things slip through, and it isn't like it used to be back in the day. Well, with Walter Cronkite, like what they had back then, they actually were a watchdog, and they were supposed to report things that were going wrong, and it just seems that so many things have become sensationalized, and they just want to blame things on everybody, and it's become more of a gossip than anything else. And I thought, come on, this is absolutely ridiculous, and you got to be politically correct, God forbid, and not get the ACLU upset, and just there's so many different things that are just absolutely ridiculous. But Argo is a sensational film, and Ben Affleck, he got an Oscar, as well he should have. He deserved the Oscar that he received, and one of my favorite actors, Alan Arkin, is in it, and just to see him for the movie alone, I think is well worth it, because he has some of the funniest lines I've ever heard. And my dad was actually quoting one of the lines earlier today, and I was just giggling my butt off at it. I thought, no, I shouldn't. I don't mean to be ornery, but I can't help it sometimes. Sorry, these retainers are really a pain in the rear sometimes. But as far as biopics go, Argo is one that you should watch, because it teaches you quite a bit about Iran, and it's really quite the educational film, I thought, because it just shows the extremists and how insane they are, and just how much they hate the great Satan and all that. It just kind of makes you wonder if such a plot could ever happen again, if they could make it work, because that the exact schematic, everything that they put forward, they're using that same plan for other espionage missions, actually. And I thought, that's very intriguing. And it actually, I thought, this is never going to work, and believe it or not, they made it credible. And even though it was extremely dangerous, it was a very perilous situation. It was like walking into a furnace and then turning up the heat about 1,000 times, and I thought, ooh, out of the frying pan and into the fire, quite literally. And it was just absolutely pure unbridled chaos, and it just shows mob mentality of the people, and they just show the extremism of Islam. And you know, I have some issues with this, because I've seen Persepolis, and I love Persepolis. Don't get me wrong, I love Persepolis. It's probably one of my favorite films of all time, and I got it in my collection. I don't have any Iranian friends. I have friends from Turkey and Jordan and Palestine and Israel and Egypt, and even some friends from Morocco. And it doesn't show the other, what I call the Brotherhood, the brotherly aspect of Islam. And there's a really good movie, well, it probably isn't the best movie around, but Don't Mess with the Zohan actually really shows that quite well. And you know, I wrote a fanfic about it and everything. and it just I explained a little bit more about Zohan's relationship with his friend that was Islamic, and how unfortunately they were they hated each other despite everything, even though they were best of friends. But it just goes back to Isaac and Ishmael, if you know your Torah, which I do. And it's sad, but I like a movie. This is kind of slanted on the American side. God forgive me. I know it makes me sound like I'm kind of devil's advocate here, but um, that was my only nag. I guess that there's more fact to it than not, because I think that a lot of the people are extremists, and they don't like us very much. But in recent times, especially with our current our current news, I was thinking about Iran. They've become our allies, and I wouldn't have seen this coming for years. Nobody would have seen this coming for years. And then I thought of the saying, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend." Yes, sure, indeed. But better for them to be our friends, I think. I'm all for that. I like the Iranian people quite a bit, honestly, and the good the brotherhood, like I said, the brotherly Muslims. I consider them my family. I mean, they are my family. I can't even go into detail, because I love them, and a lot of people don't understand why. It's the extremists I have problems with. It's not the people that read the Quran for what it's really worth. I've read the Quran twice, and nowhere, well, it says killed the infidel. Muhammad really didn't mean that. Allah really didn't mean that. No, it wasn't really about killing the infidel. I mean, it's about welcoming those with open arms, and they also they believe in Jesus, believe it or not. I thought, yeah, sure, why not? I mean, they're from Abraham. I mean, come on, we're all from the same father. But I'm sorry, I've got off on the wrong track there, and I sometimes do. But Argo is a good movie. It's really suspenseful. All the characters are sensational. John Goodman plays the role of a man that helps them in making this whole debacle work. And at first they always thought that this sort of thing was just gonna blow up in their faces, that they were just walking into a trap. And the first time that they actually went through with it, that the main character, which was played by Ben Affleck, it was actually directed by Ben Affleck and George Clooney. So it's really just quite the amazing film. Well worth your time. I give Argo 2 thumbs up, 5 stars hands down. There's no flaws. It's just the only thing that I can say that kind of irks me, like I said before, was just the slanted view of the extremists. And I don't think that all Iran is that way. I just don't. I can't believe that way. I just no. There are 2 sides to everything. Like in Syria, I have a friend from Syria who is in Turkey right now. Thank God, I haven't heard from him in a long time. I hope to heaven he's okay. I mean, I worry about things like this. I worry about my friends in Jordan and Israel and Egypt and Greece, of course, because Greece is just completely destroyed. But it's a mess. But this movie really educated me quite a bit. And as far as getting a different view of Iran as a whole, I would really recommend Persepolis, because it's really quite insightful film, and there are funny parts in it, and there are parts that are very sad. The ending's kind of up in the air, but I thought it was very heartwarming, just because it shows a mother and daughter's relationship together, how close they were, and a family, how important family is, and the role of family. Another film I really like, but is kind of grotesque in spots, is Waltz with Bashir, which, and I love Israel, don't get me wrong, but this actually gives another view of Israel. So it's a good contrast film if you've ever seen it. It's animated, but by no means is it meant to be watched by children. It's about the war in Lebanon. Um, Really good movie, by the way. I really recommend it. It's definitely worth your time. I recently purchased both because I wanted them in my collection. They're both my favorite films, but that's pretty much all I have to say. And I will be hopefully seeing Jersey Boys sometime this weekend. Maybe not this weekend, but next week. I've been really busy, and I've got to wake up early tomorrow. But I got more hours. Woohoo! Things are looking rosy for outcomes too.